So I know a lot of people look at me and they go, "Oh, you're a PlayStation fan. You're always doing negative content and blah blah blah." And to me, no, that's not the case. I actually do like Xbox. I'm an Xbox fan, but Xbox has kind of destroyed Xbox, and it's really sort of left it in a really negative kind of place right now, and I'm not sure that they'll ever be able to actually go out there and recover that, unfortunately. So, again, we're kind of looking at this and saying to ourselves, well, is there anything that could have changed? Is there anything they could have done differently? I mean, yeah, obviously we could do Monday morning quarterback all day long, but I do feel like they've kind of really screwed up, and it's kind of unfathomable how badly they've screwed up. But still, I'm kind of looking at things, and there's some positives, some funny things, anyway, that kind of come about with some of these things, and this one's kind of funny to me. And again, like I kind of want to point out, I'm not. It's funny because you would expect a little bit better. It's been a weird year for PlayStation, in my opinion, because PlayStation has really crapped the bed when it comes to releasing big first-party exclusive games like they used to, right? Like, I think a lot of us were expecting them to carry on what they did at the end of the PS4 generation with all those great single-player games, and now they're kind of not doing that, and it's an unfortunate situation. But still, with that being said, I did find this to be interesting. Forza Horizon 5, and this isn't from Alanea Analytics either. Forza Horizon 5 PS5 sales beat Sony's biggest PS5 exclusive in Europe. So that's interesting, because Sony's official PlayStation 2025 charts are in, and it's very interesting. So Sony has this week revealed the top 20 best-selling PS5 games digitally throughout 2025, and Microsoft has a large presence on the list with Black Ops 7, Black Ops 6, Forza Horizon 5, and Oblivion Remastered, and more making the cut. Forza Horizon 5 is perhaps the most impressive performer here. The 4-year-old racing game outsold Ghost of Yotei last year in Europe. The Sucker Punch developed adventure was Sony's flagship exclusive for 2025, but it only came in the 11th spot in Europe. Forza Horizon 5 cracked the top 5 at number 4 in the region, while Xbox title didn't repeat the same feat in the US. It's interesting to see how this kind of worked out in EU. So again, for EU, Forza Horizon 5 is number 4 on the list, and Ghost of Yotei is further down the list, obviously. But in the US, which is arguably the larger place, you have Ghost of Yotei coming in significantly ahead of it at number 7, and then Forza Horizon 5 at number 14. So, again, it's very interesting to me. I'm not trying to say anything. Listen, I didn't buy Ghost of Yotei, and I have my own reasons. I mean, probably some of you might agree, some of you won't. I don't have any kind of, if it did well or if it didn't do well, I couldn't really tell you, right? Like, that's not really my thing. I don't really know if if this is something that realistically is going to be able to kind of do anything. But it is funny to me that it beat that game. Maybe the game didn't do as well as some people initially thought. For me, it's like I was not a fan of the voice actress. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff in there, but yeah, in the game, I didn't like the fact that it was, and not to get too, it's not really a political thing or anything, but it just feels to me like there was a good character there with Jin, and then you just oh, well, we're going to leapfrog that guy, and then we're not going to tell any more of that story, which I really enjoyed. And, so I guess it just kind of is what it is. But for me anyway, it's interesting to see that Forza Horizon was able to do that. Now, the other thing that I will say is I really feel like Microsoft may have painted themselves in a bit of a corner here, because there's nothing like Forza Horizon on PlayStation, right? I mean, I guess you could say that terrible Ubisoft game, The Crew 3 or whatever, but I've never even played it, but I've heard that it's not anywhere near as good as Forza Horizon. But when you look at things, right, they release this game, there's all this fervor, and it sells. I'm not going to deny that it's probably sold 2 to 3 million units on PlayStation. But the hard part to that is they just sold that on PlayStation last year. It's not even a year old yet. And they might later this year release Part 6 on PlayStation as well. I think it could potentially impact those. If I were Microsoft, I would have maybe held off on possibly, when I'm dropping stuff all over myself, I would have maybe held off on releasing Forza Horizon, I wouldn't have released 5 on PlayStation. I would have just did 6 and 8 because there would have been so much fervor. You probably would have got huge numbers, all right, and you probably would have got like way up there in the MPD and stuff like that. But instead, I don't think that it's gonna necessarily work out that way with kind of what we're seeing. But it is crazy to me to see that game didn't do as well. Like I don't know. It's like for me, we haven't really seen. I know there was some analytics that came out and said, "Oh, Ghost of Yotei did really well" or whatever. Like we haven't really seen Sony come out and say, "Okay, well, it's done this or this." But looking at the list, obviously Black Ops 7 hasn't quite performed as well as Xbox and Activision would have hoped, given that it misses the top 5 in both regions. But the rest of Microsoft's entry appeared to be okay for the company. Back at Forza Horizon 5 for a minute, it looks like the series has some momentum heading into Forza Horizon 6 this year. And again, like I did in another video, it looks like it could be releasing in May. It could sneak into 2026 on PS5 if Microsoft opts for, if it's done. I think the only reason it's not launching is because it's not ready. So honestly, that really basically kind of says all you need to know about it. And hopefully, that's something that, could change after time or whatever. So, again, I'm not necessarily making fun of it. It's just a little odd to me because I own a PlayStation 5. I actually have been playing a little bit more PlayStation 5 Pro lately. I played it already more this year than I did all of last year. So that should give you a little bit of a clue. But I also have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed this game, called Dispatch, which is like on consoles. It's only on PlayStation 5 right now. It's coming to Switch and Switch 2 later this month, but no Xbox version announced. But this game, it came out last year. If I had played it last year, it would have been the best game of the year for me personally. Like, just it's made by Telltale Games developers, but yeah, they did such an amazing job on that. And it's kind of interesting just to see how some of these things kind of work out. But yeah, it's strange, but it's still kind of interesting to see how Microsoft handles some of these things. I think again, we're going to see some very cool stuff with Forza Horizon 6, and I've long felt that the Forza Horizon series really kind of saved Xbox's butt numerous times in the past. So I really do think that it's going to be something fun to see how they're going to handle this in the future. Like, what are they going to be able to do? How are developers going to handle some of these things? But I'm excited to see the game. I'm excited to play the game. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and things like that. So I know a lot of people are probably amped up and excited to play it. There's no, listen, you don't have to be, and this is kind of my thing that I still have to kind of understand and make myself understand. I don't have to be a Debbie Downer and be a downbeat guy all the time for everything, right? I'm excited for for a lot of this stuff. I'm excited for the games that are coming out, and I think that's enough for right now. If the interesting thing is, it's like I'm a big fan. I'm a rescue animals, and I recently lost my dog, and it's been tough. But I think the thing that dogs in particular can teach us is that there's no future, there's no past. You live in the present. So in the present, there's going to be some great games. Enjoy the games, play them, have a good time with it, and whatever happens in the future, hopefully we're there to deal with it, and maybe we get to play some games, have a good time with these things. That's what video games are all about. But in general, getting the new Fable looks like it should be good. I'm just hoping they give us a choice to pick our character, whether or not to be a man or a woman. Hopefully they give us that choice. Like the other Fables, I think the first one was, you couldn't pick, but oh well. And I hope that they give us that choice. And I hope Halo plays great and doesn't change too much about what made it great in the first place. And I hope Gears E-Day is a great throwback to what made Gears of War great. I think that hopefully they're really trying to do that, and that would be incredible to see that happen. Let Xbox kind of end on a high note there, saying, hey, we got all these games or whatever, And yeah, some people might not think that it's the end of Xbox, but it is the end of Xbox as a traditional console. So it's nice to go out sort of on a high note, you know what I mean? And just see what happens from there. But I'm curious what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this game? Are you guys excited for the games coming this year? Let me know. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.